Namo Buddhaya, Namo Rathanataya. Greetings to all our venerables, our venerable Dhammadharini monastic community, venerable Bhikkhunis, seminaries, and Upasikas who are here, and also at our Aranya Bodhi Awakening Forest Hermitage, and to all who are joining us online on this new moon night, which is at least in East Asia and for East Asian people around the world, and increasingly spread far and wide, the Lunar New Year. So welcome to everyone to our first Uposatha program for our 2023 winter retreat. And after the last several weeks of storms here, which were quite dramatic, what some called the relentless parade of cyclonic atmospheric rivers and all of this, then I feel so fortunate to be here in our Dhammadharini Monastery underneath Sonoma Mountain in the Petaluma Valley, and I think we're quite well here, actually. Of course, we have all the kinds of dukkha that we're prone to create and proliferate in a relentless barrage of human atmospheric cyclonic whatever it may be. There may be that, or it might not be like that at all. It might be that we're experiencing so much well-being and gratitude and gladness, appreciation. And certainly this is something that the Satipattḥāna will tell us, will show us all of these things. It's the great illuminator, and the foundation also for being able to see and know everything so clearly and well. So I'd like to begin this evening now on the first of 6 of our Uposathas, new moon and full moon Uposathas. 6 on the new moon and full moon means then 3 lunar months. So this is the beginning then with the new moon. And then 2 weeks from now, we'll be gathering together again for the full moon. And then through till the full moon in the beginning of April. Actually works out very well for Satipattḥāna, for working with 4 bases for developing and establishing say like fundamental foundations of mindfulness. To have our first is introduction, then to have our next be focused on Ekāyano, looking into the body, then the following, then Vedanānupāsana, looking into feelings, then our third, Chittānupāsana, looking into mind, and fourth, then looking into Dhamma and Dhammas, or Dhammas, not just, yes, it's all Dhamma, but all of the teachings, of course. Then we can say they're all teachings, they're all Dhammas, but it's all Dhamma. So we can say it both ways, yes? And then to gather back together again for our final sharing together our experiences, and then also gratitude. Oh, who knows? We We hope. Right? That is good to be intentional about gratitude as well. So for gratitude and sharing of blessings at the end, this is our plan for this time. And so then this will be over these 6 Uposathas in the 3-month period. And we have here also together on my hand here, Ācarinī, who also has very kindly and generously offered to be teaching on this theme, this topic or these topics during this time. In fact, she already started. We earlier had planned to be beginning our winter retreat just like about a week earlier, but because of various factors, including winter storms, passing away of friends, and other things like this, then we're starting 1 week later, and we plan also then to be finishing about 1 week later than we had earlier thought. But this works very well for the moon dates for the Uposatha program. It comes to match in really well. So I want to say thanks to Ācarinī for her contribution also to the teachings during this time, and to invite everyone who's here or everyone who sees this later also to go to the Dhammadharini Monastery YouTube if you'd like to see the teachings that Ācarinī has already offered, to see them or to see them again. And warm welcome to benefit as much as possible from all the teachings and the opportunity to practice together during this time. I'd like to begin now with some time of meditation, and then after some time of meditation together, then I'd like to give a little bit of a further introduction, not so much to the times and dates as now, but more to the concept of our theme here for our 3-month-long Uposatha program and for this winter retreats practice. So we've chosen the theme where the whole path comes together, returning home to the Satipatthanas. So now I'd like to offer some time of meditation for all of us. There may be some time that I'm speaking during the meditation time. Welcome, you're invited to listen and to work with what I'm saying. Or if it feels better to you to just do what you know is good for you right now with your mindfulness practice, during this time, you're also welcome and invited to do that. I'll be ringing the bell 1 time at the beginning of the meditation, and then 3 times at the end of the meditation. After ringing the bell 3 times at the end of the meditation, I'll share Dhamma reflection, and then there will be time for questions, if there are questions. And this is open to all of our community members who are here, as well as all our community members and friends who are joining online. Time for questions, sharing, Dhamma discussion. So thinking about offering 2 of the highest blessings in terms of Dhamma, that is to be able to listen to the Dhamma, Dhamma savana, etamangalamuttamang, and then also Dhamma discussion, Dhamma sakaja, etamangalamuttamang. as well as another of the greatest blessings to be able to it was seeming like everything was going technically so well. So, when do the foibles start? And then I don't know if you could hear what I heard, but the YouTube, which is a little bit later, started playing out loud here. So now time for our meditation time. I invite everyone to join me. May all beings receive the blessings of this offering. Likewise ourselves, including ourselves. Intentionality. Let's invite ourselves to become fully present and aware. In our sitting posture, if we're sitting, anyone here feels like they need to stand during the meditation time, also welcome to stand and have standing meditation. If anyone who's joining is lying down, that's fine too. We can also have lying down meditation. If anyone feels like it would be good for them to move, we can also have walking meditation. I often myself alternate between these postures. If I'm already feeling good to be sitting, then I might sit for as long as it seems good to be sitting, whether determining for a particular period of time because I wish to train myself in sitting for that particular period of time intentionally, or intentionally sitting for how long it seems to be good to sit, with the wish to know, the intention to know when it would be good, then to alternate, moving mindfully to standing and practice standing meditation, walking, practice walking meditation. We can alternate even between walking and standing at the end of our walking meditation path, whether the path is long or whether the path is short. Sometimes in my kuti at our Ācarinī forest hermitage in the winter storms, kuti is not large, then I make inside my 2-step walking path. Because it's just a small room, even to have a small bed and seat inside with the stove, it's already quite full. And then I would just stand, then mindfully take one step, a second step, and stand at the end of my second step, two-step walking meditation path. And stand, practice standing, standing, and standing. Then mindfully turn, practice standing, then walking, intending to walk, and walking one step, and then a second step, and stopping, practicing standing, until I could feel. Now the mind is really gravitating towards, from standing, like really gravitating towards sitting down, to be able to become more still. Because there's the feeling then of the inclination to deeper stillness. We can notice, we can observe for ourselves. Now as we're sitting, for those who are sitting, coming to the sitting posture. When one is inclined to deeper stillness, it's a great relief to sit. Noticing the relief of not needing to do anything else at this time. Being able to put all other activities aside for the moment. And to be able to settle the mind. Coming to touch points. Touch of our hands. Touch of our bum. On the seat or cushion. Touch of our legs while we're sitting. Touch of our feet. Until we can sense the touch points wherever we notice them and feel them around the body. From the top of the head, the hairs of the head, even over the surface of the body, the hairs of the body, down to our fingers and toes, fingernails, toenails, exterior, around the surface of the body, the touch points. Even like with the hair of the body, that it's so delicate, so sensitive. Then from the fingernails and toenails, coming into the bones, the hard places. What's hard and soft. With the hard places, and also coming up with the bones and up the spine, the shoulders, and skull, and then teeth. Feeling the teeth. Touch points. Noticing, do we have a visual image or not? Just feeling sensation of touch. The teeth. Where do we notice it? Where do we feel it? How do we feel it? Is the feeling hard or gentle strong and clear perception or faint. Try touching the teeth together for a moment. Feeling the touch point, not hard, just a light touch. Just consciously to notice where is there that sense of touch. Just touching gently and seeing which place do they come together. That point of contact. Noticing, sensing the point of contact. Where the physical part and also the attention and consciousness are meeting together. Pasa, paso, contact. From there, we can easily come to the breath, which is located at a very sensitive point. We can sense very nearby to there, even just from our teeth to our upper lip. A point of contact where it's most obvious, with interest. Even if we've seen it 100,000, 10,000 times before, still never this time. We are not the same as we were all those other times. There is just this now, truly, isn't there? Isn't it? Where do we sense the breath? In the nostrils, in the throat, in the chest. Do we feel the body itself moving with the breath? As our chest and abdomen moves, and also pushes on the legs, the arms, even our head, neck, back, it's all moving with the breath. This is called a breath body. Satipattḥāna. All beings that breathe. We are among them, breathing together. A breathing body, said to be alive. Prana, vital energy, the breath. Noticing as we breathe, we feel the body of the breath. Also, the sense of inside and outside. It might not even be dualistic, but just we can sense inside and outside. Just as when we open a door and that door or window is open and we sense inside and outside. Just the environment, the air, inside and outside. Then also we see the solid things in the environment that are like they're framing. We sense warmth and coolness, the things that are hard and soft. With that sense of openness and spaciousness also, we may notice how the breath goes deeper into the abdomen. If we allow it to, it will naturally. We can see, even sometimes we can feel, and oh, look, feeling the breath going down much deeper, even though it's not necessarily a long breath. But with the breath going deeper, then also the vital energy coming into the cells, we can feel it getting like activated, vital energy spreading and coming alive in the body in a different kind of way, sensitive to touch with the breath. Mindful of body, of breath, internally and externally. The windows, the body of eyes, ears, nose, mouth. The windows also of so many touch points, a whole constellation, like so many twinkling stars in the night sky on the new moon, dark moon night. The whole constellation of touch points, like constellations of universes. Sometimes we may see and feel like that. With the energy of life, pervasive. The sense also of the awareness. Broadening. Becoming more expansive. As we think and perceive in this kind of way. How can come back to particular touch points. One finger, a touch point of one finger. Applying and directing our mind with mindfulness and clear comprehension, clear awareness, with the intention to see and know clearly. The intention for the seeing and knowing, the setting aside of everything else. Clearly see, feel, know. Coming home into ourselves. Offering the gift of the time. It's just to deepen our clearly seeing and knowing, our awareness. As we deepen the breath, spread the energy of the breath through the body. Relaxing more deeply. And with the intention for our awareness to become even more keen, but not too tight, not tight. Just like right in the middle, sensitive, relaxed, aware, breathing into and sensing into that middle. If it feels too tight, we breathe into it. Allow the breath to open it up, unbind the tight places. If it feels too narrow, see if we can spread the awareness, sense of touch points through the breath, internally and externally, holding a little bigger space. More expansive. If we start to feel too diffuse, we can come back to where the perception of the breath is very clear. We can follow the movement of the touch. Use that to guide and direct our mind. Touch of our fingers, not too hard, not too soft. If there's a sense of comfort in coming home to the body and breath, this is blameless. It's good. This is a good sense of comfort. It's good to have this time. We can feel glad in our hearts for that. It's good to have this opportunity. We can feel glad for this. A little bit more expansively, it's good to be doing this together as Sangha, as community, offering this time and space to ourselves and to one another. By our coming together, we're offering the gift of Sangha. As Sangha is never one alone. It is each one of us and all of us together. We can feel glad about this. If we don't feel glad, we can also notice, just notice What kind of feelings, what kinds of sensations are there? Just look at them, feel them, know them for whatever they are. Also like constellations. See how we try to identify, name, or that we don't even necessarily need to do that. We can just see them in their very rudimentary form. Temporary and flux coming together of particular conditions. Certain patterns. Shifting, evolving, moving. We can just notice, is there any feeling tone? And if so, what is it? With that sense of seeing, that sense of knowing, open awareness, the space in which we can see, touch, know how good it is to offer this space, to have this time and space, be able to do this. We can see where we feel the feelings. Are they on our shoulders, or in our belly, in our hips, on the top of our head, in the heart center? What's it like? What's going on? We can keep the body and breath as a reference point and breathe into, bring the energy of life, hāna breath, into these places. We can offer an invitation. If we find any places where we feel like there are knots, as we breathe gently into them, it's like possible those knots can loosen. Just a gentle intention with our mindfulness of body and breath, feelings, sensations, this awareness of touch. The knots are invited to be allowed to relax and to loosen a little, even to unbind, just gently. Not like prying with angst, not that. If you sense yourself coming to the perception and touch with a kind of prying angst, like that, see if that sense of prying touch can be made to just touch there gently, with seeing and knowing. Just the invitation of softening and loosening a little. That prying angst we can invite to relax in this time. And with that, we can be more comfortable, relaxed, and open. And our awareness can deepen. And we can notice what is our state of mind. How is it? Small or great or medium? Expansive or contracted? Heavy and dull or refined? Something in between? Just noticing, not pushing, not trying to change. Noticing whatever we can sense, even if it's wordless. Even if it's just feeling or colors. We can come back to the touch points as reference points anytime. Where do we see, know, feel them? Make that intention. Touch is not hard or soft. Not tight or loose. You may feel hardness or softness, warmth or coolness. Whatever is there and really happening is here and really happening. We have this space for seeing and knowing and feeling. This is our home base. always available. In now, every time, everywhere, we have awareness. We are awake. Aware of touch, body, breath. Aware of feeling tones. Aware of the quality or timbre of our mind. Don't make anything fixed out of it. When you notice something, don't try to freeze it. It's more like flowing. As we touch point with the breath, it's flowing. Every moment, different sensations, perceptions are appearing and disappearing. We can see the rising, appearing on the event horizon, our experience. We can see them vanishing, disappearing, falling away from this event horizon. Like observing the breath in or observing the breath out. Observing the breath in and out. Like watching sparkles in water, twinkling. Sensations, feelings, moments of consciousness sparkling in and out of existence. At touch points, points of contact. Nothing to grasp. Centered, relaxed, present, aware. With this space for everything twinkling in and out of existence momentarily. Open heart, mind of awareness. Just see and know and experience. As when we watch sparkles on water, dappled sunlight through the leaves of the tree in the light breeze. Twinkling stars at night. The universe of the body and breath, awareness, feelings sparkling in and out of existence. We don't need to go to the lake. We can come here anytime. We are the lake. We are the stream and the light. We are the universe, made up of atoms of billions of stars. All the light and power and energy of the universe. It's so awesome and humbling. If we get lost, we can come back to the touch points. Come back home. Touch point of the body, breath. Seeing, knowing, feeling. Just aware. It's so good to come back. Good to come home. Everything in the path meets here. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling pana, prana, vital energy of the breath, spreading through the whole body, internally and externally. Rise and fall. Relaxing. Releasing. Brightening and energizing our energy, our keenness, our awareness. Ready to apply ourselves to the Dhamma. Seeing and knowing the Dhamma. Dhamma savanakalo. Dhamma savanakalo nayang badanta. You can fold our palms over our hearts. The gesture of the angels. Patanjalian adiwarang ayajata.
Tathālokā vipati saham pati Patanjali anadivarang ayachata Santita sata paradakadatika Yese tu dhammam anukampimam pajam.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. I hope you feel good. I hope you enjoyed the meditation time, or that it was of value and of benefit. However you're feeling, whatever the experience, because of your bringing mindfulness and clear awareness to it, or because of your making effort with the intention to bring mindfulness and awareness to it, and you're applying and directing your mind, you're training yourself, your exploration, you're working with it. I want to say again, greetings all dear venerables, venerable bhikkhunis, seminaries, also upasakas and upasikas, even if there are any venerable bhikkhus or seminaries who might be watching, also greetings. So welcome again, everyone, to our Dhammadharini 2023 Winter Retreat Uposatha program. On this new moon night, I know already around the world for many, it's the beginning the Lunar New Year. While here, it's still the new moon night. And with these words of welcome, then I'd like to talk about the theme that we've chosen for our winter retreat this time. We had a Dhammadharini Community meeting, and then we all had the chance to share what our inspiration was for these 3 months of the winter retreat. And one of our monastic community members then mentioned Satipattḥhāna, the 4 Satipatthanas. Then also someone else mentioned factors of awakening, bodhibojjhangas, 7 factors of awakening. But actually, bojjhango sati sankhato dhammana vichayo tata. Then mindfulness is the first, and then goes also to contemplation of Dhamma. So these things, the mindfulness, the sati, bodhibojjhanga, and then also Dhammayicaya bodhibojjhanga are actually very much included in the Satipattḥhāna. And then other things that are the factors of awakening, you might even say, are like they're the effects in some ways. Like when we practice with these 2, then also often what happens is then the next will arise. Yes. Sometimes it seems like it happens a little bit differently, though. It seems like it's actually through listening to the Dhamma that we become mindful, because there's something in the Dhamma that then is like catches our interest. Then we start to pay attention, then our mindfulness like becomes strong, attentive, and aware. while we're listening, and then we're contemplating that, something there, catches our attention in that kind of way. And then through listening to that Dhamma, then also kind of inspiration or tranquility, or, the next factor then starts to arise. Or it can be that actually it's just in our sitting or our walking or our standing or our lying down meditation, when we're practicing or training with mindfulness and we're watching, we're observing, that then the Dhamma contemplation starts, even like rising and falling. For example, like anicca, sanya, and going to a Dhamma contemplation right there, and then looking into that, and also then like inspiration, tranquility, then our mind starts to become much more calm, still, clear, and strong. And then we may even, then from right there, like just looking into that, then we want to go into, because of applying and directing our mind and it becoming like strong and steady, and then we're looking into that, we want to penetrate into that, it starts to open up, and then it's like samadhi. We start to access the samadhi right there, but it can happen whilst listening to the Dhamma as well. So this is one of the things sometimes people debate, but traditionally, from long ago, from the Buddha's lifetime, even it's said that even although the Buddha we know is a great meditation master, and also we know that many of the monastics and also the non-monastics householders were also like great in meditation and highly developed in meditation, and yet the vast majority are said to have realized awakening, their minds penetrating into the Dhamma during the time of listening to the Dhamma. Or even as we see in many of the suttas, there's a kind of a dialogue happening with Q&A, contemplation, sharing, discussion. At that time, then they're penetrating into the Dhamma. So then we see how these factors are then coming together. So even then in a moment, we may know, even for ourselves, if that's happened before. It's said that for the factors of awakening to all galvanize, there needs to be at least that much samadhi. That is at least a kshana, at least a fraction of a second of samadhi, for the mind to become stable and clear enough for that penetration then into the Dhamma. At least that much is needed for there to be that realization. Yes, so there's the basis of the mindfulness there, and then also the contemplation of the Dhamma, and then like keen interest arises, or some kind of, sometimes people feel like sign of tranquility, sometimes said like a sign of tranquility, like nimitta, things seem like they slow down or start to become very clear or keen. Sometimes people feel like they start to hear a very special sound, or they feel like the air starts to change texture, or this kind of thing. Yes. And then, right? So this can happen during the meditation time. Also, it can happen during the time of listening to the Dhamma, contemplating the Dhamma. So how these factors of awakening then are like coming together, or working together in this kind of way. You can have more than one factor of awakening that gets activated at the same time. In fact, that's how it works when there are awakening experiences. This one and then another and then another and then another of factors of awakening. It's like, when I was a kid, then there was the time that the ornaments were put on the tree, and then we strung the lights, and then it's like plugging in And then, I don't know, I'm not that old, but I don't know if you would have seen this or not. But then it's like one part starts to come on, and then the electricity is going through, or you're plugging them in. There's another part's coming on, another part's coming on. It's up to the star on the top of the tree. Oh, right? All the lights are on. And it's different strands, right? Because of different strand. Anyway, that's how it was before, is they all got plugged into each other. Yes, and then the electricity would come into them, and then going up to the star on the top of the tree. And so the factors are all, if they are all turned on, even you have mindfulness and you're listening and contemplating the Dhamma, even you have those two that are opportunity for them, and you're actively working with them with your interest, and it's good. I think all of us here have love for the Dhamma. For me, I feel like I just have a lot of love for the Dhamma. Even I say that, it's like my heart is just like expanding and singing or something. It's just that I love the Dhamma. So this thing about also the inspiration, then, this love for the Dhamma can be like, in the way that I'm saying, it's like so energetic, right? But then it is important that there be that energy of mind with our interest. But then it's like when that starts to become steady, and so this we can train ourselves in this. It's like how we're thinking about it. We can bring up also that energy. So it's by our thought we learn how, by our thinking. Sometimes for myself, then, it's just maybe I'm feeling not so energetic. Maybe I feel a little bit tired or something. I just think to myself, okay, now I'm going to gather my energy. Now I'm going to bring up my energy. Like, I wasn't a cheerleader before, but we had cheerleaders, and what does a cheerleader do? And the cheerleader is like to, take and like gather the energy and then apply that energy, and you're like bringing all these factors. If it's the cheerleader, then you want the whole team, right? And then it's like all the team and the audience. You get your audience, and then you gather from the factors for the team, and then you're like, rah, right? To go. So you just think yourself like this. So now I'm just thinking and I'm just talking about it, but I can feel in the body, also in the body, and like in the heart and in the mind. It's like that's rousing energy, right? So we can just like think about it, and then you learn how to do that yourself. If you don't know how to do it, probably you know how to do it. Right. But sometimes we forget we know how to do it. And then we just sit there and we struggle, or we just blame ourselves, or we just like, I'm practicing mindfulness because I'm just going with what is. And this kind of thing, right? So we have to remember, and this is actually an enormously important part of working with sati. Because sati in the old Indian traditions, then the most common use, smriti, is exactly to remember, is to recollect. So these are things that are important to remember, to recollect. Then when we remember them and we recollect them, we activate them, because this is what the mind does. When something is recollected, when it's remembered, we apply and direct our mind to it, it gets activated. And if we're a practitioner of mindfulness of the body, we know when something gets activated in the mind, how also then we see activation in the body, right? So then we can see the activation in the mind. Is the mind sluggish and dull, or is it vibrant and energized? Is it like narrow and descending, or is it like rising, or is it just like in between, good, balanced, steady, like this? So we see the mind, but then when we look at the body, we can also see then how energy gets activated or deactivated, right? Sometimes also we bring our mindfulness to something. If it's activated in a way that's like we might understand to be not so healthy or wholesome, akusala. If we notice that, then we can also see how to deactivate that, or to change it. Because really what that is, it's not something permanent, not something with a fixed identity. It's just like a particular pattern of mind that is, then we say that thing is akusala. But as soon as we change the pattern of mind, the energy is just available. It can be whatever. Yes, as the Buddha said, with regards to the mind and mental energy, you pour it into any container and it will take the shape of that container, like gold, right? So really it's like that. So our thought is then creating the shape of the container. Yeah, our idea. So then it's like, what kind of concept then do we apply and direct our life energy to, being conscious about that, being intentional about that? So if we notice that it's like somehow we've fabricated a kind of a concept that's like, is it worthy to continue with? Or would something else be better to continue with? Then we can change it, because it's just a fabrication of mind. So then we train. We have the opportunity now during this time. Really, there's nothing else that we need to do. We might think, I need to do this, I need to do that, but these are all just the forms. But the heart of the matter that we're here for, to be working with, is the practice. So this practice, this training then in whatever posture, whether it's walking, standing, sitting, lying down, chopping vegetables, washing dishes, taking a bath, what else? Using the computer, being tech support, practicing wearing our robes, shaving our heads, or washing our hair, combing or brushing our hair, whatever these things may be. Then these are the bases, the forms, that these are our opportunities then for applying ourselves. But the intention to hold ourselves and all together during this time is for this motion, for this touch. Maybe we're touching our face. For this touch, maybe we feel ourselves smiling. For this touch, for this action, for this behavior, being intentional. This is the path. This is the training. This is the place. Let me ask, for Satipatthaana, is there any physical posture that's not suitable for the Satipatthaana practice? Yes, please. Samurai Tavira is shaking her head and saying it can always be applied. Is there anyone who disagrees? Like, really? Then why not always? Are we always? Really? Really? Don't you have the things that are like, okay, can you name anything that's like, you're not using it for your practice? Uh-oh, I gave a very good answer very fast, but now she's asking sensitive questions. Right? There's theory and then there's practice, right? So this time actually is for both theory and practice. So yes to theory, but of course we know we're not here just for the theory, because what is the theory going to do for us? It's like you go to a restaurant and you just look at all the pictures, right? Then you point out this one, you talk about this one, and you talk about that one, and this kind of thing, but then you don't, even you're hungry, right? But you just look at them and talk about them, right? This is, what will you do? We're, huh? To eat, yes, exactly. So I really love this kind of verse, the Dhamma verse that's about eating and drinking. You and I already shared it a little while ago in dedication. Earlier on when I think Ācarinī was giving a teaching, and this is a verse that goes, Dhamma piti sukhang seti vipassanena cetasa arya pavedite dhamme sada ramati pandito, you can say, pandita, you can say. So it means those who drink of Dhamma joy abide happily with minds clear, calm, and bright in the Dhamma made known by the noble ones. Wise ones always find delight. Right? So this is eating and drinking, there's the physical things that happen, but then also people delight, right? Love to delight. What kind of taste, or then also for the eyes, it's like, what kind of thing does it have? A lovely form. I'm looking up at the orchids that are like balanced above the stairwell to the library. And we look, and then also for sound. So there's the way of like eating or drinking sights, and also for sounds, for smells, as well as for physical tastes, as well as for physical sensations. Aren't we connoisseurs of all of these things? It's like we want to get the nice and lovely ones and want to do away with and get away from the ones, the physical sensation that's not comfortable, the smell that smells bad, that thing that tastes bad, that sound that's like screech, and then and then the thing that looks ugly and it's not arranged properly and it's the wrong color, and all of this, right? So we can see for sights, sounds, smells, tastes, physical sensations, and even for the mind, also for ideas, how we're the connoisseurs of ideas, right? Like, is it a good book or not, right? So yes, we might be evaluating the quality of the paper and how the light falls on the paper, and is the print with a font that we like, but mostly it's the ideas, isn't it? So maybe I should say on the tablet or on the computer screen, but it's the meaning, the ideas. So this is also for the mind, then how we're connoisseurs of all of these things. But to drink of Dhamma joy, Dhamma piti sukhang seti vipassanena cetasa. Those who drink of Dhamma joy abide happily with minds clear, calm, and bright. Means with those bases of contact, whatever they are, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, then this is a base of contact for Dhamma, Dhammas of things, whatever qualities or characteristics there may be of whatever the things, and Dhamma also in the mind. It's like meeting of Dhamma and Dhamma. For a Satipattḥhāna practice, then whatever is that base, whatever is that sight, then for mindfulness of seeing, for clear awareness with regards to seeing, for hearing, for mindfulness, for clear awareness with regards to hearing. So in what I was talking about before, to be the connoisseur, then the aim is to enjoy, the aim is to like or dislike, right? The aim is to like want to get that or get rid of it, to love it or to hate it. So often this is the aim. If you go into an art gallery and you look at the different pictures, what is your going to be your aim? I can't say beforehand, but for many people, they'll go in and like, what do they want? They want to know what they like and dislike, and then also to think about it and talk about it, and then we feel very smart. It's like evaluating this one and that, and then also the whole ideas thing. Then we become connoisseurs of ideas, and oh, how well he spoke about that. oh, how pitiful. How could that person like something like that? They're really so funny. Oh, pity the poor fool, right? And then we it's like basing our kind of like whole sense of ego self, isn't it? Just a construction, right? We can see how it's built up, like how we construct, we weave, we fabricate, we build it all up with all these kinds of things. But in this case, with regards to the Satipatthanas, four bases, foundations to be established, bases and foundations to be established, then the aim is different. With regards to the contact, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, physical sensations, things of the mind, the aim is different. You're showing up for a different reason, with a different motivation. It's not there with the aim to like it or dislike it, to be judging in that kind of way. Not there with the aim to be building up, bolstering our ego through our judgments in this kind of way. It's not the aim. It's not the point. It's not the purpose. We're showing up with a different aim with regards to all these bases of contact, physical contact, also then feelings, knowing the feeling tone of something. In a way, it seems like it's something that's like at the meeting of body and mind somehow, right? But that what is the tone? The aim is to see and know it clearly. What's the state of mind? It's not to judge oneself or others. Oh, they're so exalted. Oh, look. That person looks really down, right? But yes, we may know, just to know and be aware internally, externally with regards to these things, but the aim is seeing and knowing, and to really be able to see and know it as clearly and as truly, actually, as we possibly can. So then we even see the habits of judgment, how they come up. And those habits of the craving and the desire, how they come up. If you're used to approaching the things because your aim is to be liking or disliking them and judging them, that has a certain, those patterns, those habits have a certain energy to them. So even you say, this time I'm determined to be practicing Satipattḥāna, I'm enough with that, done, I'm showing up differently, my aim is different. And yet still is like, what is it? You're in a car and you start to put on the brakes, but does it just stop immediately? If your car is going very, very slow, maybe. If it's very slow, it may seem like it stops immediately. But if your car has been speeding along and you start to put on the brakes, it's not going to stop immediately. Even you would get in a wreck if it does. So don't feel too badly if I'm saying now our aim is different and to show up differently, and you start working with that, but your speeding car, there's some momentum of the other things is there. Can they also be subject or object of Satipattḥāna? Are you failing if that happens? Are you just failing in your practice and it's not worthy and there's nothing good to be got out of it, and you just say, I'm failing, this is worthless, my habits are just taking over? Huh? This is a shaking a head, smiling Anjali, and it's not hopeless, I'm hearing. Really? I've heard from others before that they're hopeless. They can't do it. They don't have what it takes. No, she says it might feel hopeless. Okay, can feeling hopeless even be valid and worthy for your Satipattḥāna work? Or is it just useless? Sometimes you can feel hopeless and give up, right? So you can go in a lot of different ways with all of these experiences. You can go in ways that are further debilitating yourself, negatively judging yourself, damning yourself. Option is there. We can do all that. We have all those skills. Plenty of people around to be examples of doing that. Yeah. And if we don't see anybody in our monastery to be a good example of that, we can just go to YouTube and we can find an example right away. I'm serious. You can just watch the news or something, right? You can find it really fast, even if you don't see any good examples of it right in front of you in your monastery or with your spouse or friends or children, or, when you're looking in the mirror. But you can find it fast. So yes, we can go in ways with the things that are disempowering, debilitating, damning ourselves, or with the very same thing, we can go in a different way with it. We have options. That's important to know. We have options. So if we are going to take a walk out in our monastery neighborhood and we come to the crossroads, then at that point at the crossroads, we can choose which way we're going to go, right? So we're there just here at the crossroads here. There's a stop sign right there. And then we see, oh, there's one road going this way, one road going that way, one road going this way. Or you can turn around and go the other way. You can just walk around if you want to, left or right. You can walk around. You could walk across and back. I'm just saying to make a little bit of fun, but really we have options. We do. We have options. This is the part where the intention and the recollection aspect, I think, of the sati, then is so very, very important. And to be working, to be training ourselves with the intention. We're all here, I'm quite sure, because of good intentions. The good intentions are what brought us. So we're all people who have good intentions, and we're probably all people who at some time or another either have or do lose sight of that. For whatever reason, our mind goes off to something else, and even if for a moment we lost sight of that wholesome, virtuous, beautiful intention that brought us here, and what we're here for, and some other. This is very important to know also. With mindfulness and clear awareness, then you start to see what kind of intention is there. All right? So number one, we can see what's there. Sometimes people say, I'm not able to see my intention. But if you ask yourself, then also, have you ever been aware of having a noble intention? Well, most people will say yes, right? That you can, right away, using your sati, you can recollect the time that you had a noble intention, the time you had a great intention, right? You can recollect it so fast. Sometimes people have a harder time actually seeing the other part. Have you ever had an ignoble intention? You said, no, I never have. Right? Never in my whole life. But you can tell if the noble intention is not present and active, some other intention is there. You check and see. And then we can also see, sometimes we can just see there's not knowing. There's ignorance. There's just, I'm interested to know this, like what kind of intention is here right now. I just don't know. And then you can just see and know that there's not knowing, right? But you can have with that intention to be able to see and know and to perceive that. This is like the layering of things, right? So it's an intention to be able to see and know intention. How is it possible? Yes, absolutely. The intention to be able to see and know the intention. And then the knowing of ignorance is sometimes there, or just in this case, ignorance just being you're knowing that you don't know. Ever experienced it? Oh yeah, all of us. There are the times that we just really knew we didn't know. Something came up. Do you know about this? Nope, I don't know. I know I don't know. I'm sure I don't know. I know. So yes, there can be this layering. And according to the Buddha's teaching in this training in mindfulness and clear awareness, that is of benefit when there's that much knowing, even to know that we don't know, or that it's not completely clear. Because there is, you can see, step one step back, you see there is that knowing. And that's good. So much of the time that we get into trouble, it's because we don't know, or we're misunderstanding, we're not seeing, and we're not really getting properly what's actually going on, but we think so. This is the double ignorance, right? We don't know, but we think we do. So we don't know, but we're wrong about not knowing. That's like that's the layering of it, right? So when you bring that knowing there, then that changes. Already that changes. And when you have that intention, you know, I have the intention to see and know. I'm applying my mind with the intention to see and know. I'm applying my mind to be training myself to be seeing and knowing. It's very different than just going around unconsciously in delusion. And often thinking we know something, thinking we are something, we're something special and all that, right? No, it's so often, it's so common. So I make a little joke out of it. I'm not joking about it because of being someone who only sees that in other people. I actually see that in myself because I spend a lot of time alone. So I see that in myself far more. But I can recognize in other people as well. So this is a really wonderful thing, actually, also with this training. This is it's like kind of great opening or equalization, or like moving into non-duality. There's so many different kinds of the non-duality, right? And this is one kind. Even in the meditation time, we're talking about like the breath internally and externally, right? Or if we sense, like we look for the elemental properties, so like feeling warmth internally, or being able to see and feel warmth like externally, something like that, right? And then when we look at that carefully, there's something then that recognizes like that's just warmth. It's just that property or that quality of warmth, whether internal or external, or it's like becomes somehow undifferentiated in a way. It can be like that also for the other things, like bones in this body or bones in the other bodies, the hard or soft qualities in things, right? We work with it, we train with it, and then in a way it starts to become undifferentiated. What about feelings? Negative or positive, pleasure or pain, internally or externally. We sense in ourselves, we sense in someone else is just painful feelings or just pleasant feelings, right? And just noticing these are just feeling tones. This is different kinds of feeling tones, are neither pleasant nor painful. And people do. They walk into a room and the other people, what kind of vibe am I getting from them, right? What kind of feeling tone? Yeah, so but it's a great kind of equalization in a way, not a forced equalization, but it comes through just sensing and perceiving, looking at the things in these kind of basic ways, internally and externally. And for these mental things that we're talking about, also these patterns, these fabrications, these habits, these ideas, also, it's all unique for us and for everybody else all the time, of course, but certainly the patterns, the identifiable patterns are there. Yes, so this is a great equalization in a way. And that great equalization is very, very good for the heart, good for the mind, good for our humanity. Yes, uh, healthy, and it makes for such a good basis also for insights into things that then can go deep and are transformative and really, I say, make us better human beings. You might even say more, even perhaps in some small ways, more Buddha-like. A little bit here and a little bit there. Yes, in fact, indeed, because even those things that are called Buddha-like, they're like around and they show up in different people at different times. There's something that's part of our potential, that activates and happens in our humanity. It happened to the Buddha because of the Buddha also having been born human. And then because this experience is possible as a human being, as we're human beings now, also a human being who's interested in the Dhamma, interested in the truth of things, interested to train themselves, interested to investigate, to research, interested to develop the tools that are supportive and conducive, and in this case, tried and true tools that are supportive and conducive. We don't have to start 100% from scratch. We have actually an enormous amount of wisdom that's available to us to bring to bear upon this work, that we are so fortunate in this time and place, relatively peaceful, relatively unafflicted, with the great merit to be able to have time to sit and meditate, to have time to listen to the Dhamma, to have time to read, to contemplate, to experiment, to train ourselves. Actually, this is enormously precious and rare and meritorious. We might not really think so. We might not really get it. But if we look broadly at what the many human beings and many living beings are experiencing, even right now in our world, at this time, we might start to understand about that. If we understand that, then we won't waste our time. If we were to waste our time having such an opportunity, we would be amongst it's like the people who are extremely rich but extremely foolish, right? And pity them. They had some kind of merit to have so many great things and great opportunities, but the way their mind is going is like, just turning it all to garbage, right? Oh no. May we not be like that. Even if we feel we're impoverished and we don't feel we have so much merit, may we be like the ones who, even with a little merit, are so keen-minded that we know how to apply ourselves with that to what is great and penetrate into the excellent for ourselves. All the Buddha's disciples who woke up, we think they had enormous merit, but did they all just have easy lives from the time they were born and everything was easy and everything was like so lovely and it's all easy and all roses, and then they saw the Buddha and they're awake and it's just like that? Oh. Even the Buddha himself is supposed to have had such fantastic circumstances, but even then went to make things more difficult for himself for a long period of time. But that was with the absence of that passed down wisdom. There was no other Buddha alive at that time. In the traditions say there were Buddhas before that, but their teaching had already been forgotten. It wasn't available at that time. no living memory or recollection. Yeah. So we know, like in the forest, we worked on trail clearing, and even like the road had gotten all completely like grown over for 25 years, and you can't even walk through it anymore. It's just all thick and overgrown, even once the road was there. Now we can just drive in relatively easily, right? That's because of that road clearing, trail clearing work that was done. We're in this time now that it's like still, that's there. The path can be seen and is relatively clear and open for who would choose that direction, for who would choose as they stand at the crossroads in the moment, as we really are in a way all the time, every moment in our lives. If we're aware, if we're awake, we can see we're standing at the crossroads. Which direction are we going to take? How are we going to apply ourselves? How are we going to apply ourselves with our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouths, our bodies, our minds? Which direction, which path will we take? Yes? Oh, our choice. Turning to our noble intention, activating our noble intention, applying our noble intention, coming back. If we lose it, wake up that we lost it as fast as possible. We don't need to beat ourselves up. We don't need to be harsh. But awake that noble intention, apply ourselves again as quickly as we can. What am I seeing and knowing? What can I learn from this? What insight is there to be gained? How can I be training myself? How can I be applying the Dhamma to whatever this is that's being experienced here and now through these bases, these foundations of training and experience. So this is meant to be encouragement for myself, number one, and as an offering to all of us and all those who will join together, giving rise to their noble intention, or with the intention to give rise to their noble intention, applying and directing their minds with the intention and effort to apply and direct their minds to this path of practice together during this dedicated time. Thank you very much to everyone for your patient listening, or whatever it was you were practicing with. Especially hope Dhamma listening, Dhamma contemplation, working with mindfulness of body, feelings, mind, Dhammas. So I'd like to give a little bit of time now to see if anyone has any thoughts or questions that they would like to share, and then plan at just before what is 9 p.m. here to have a dedication for entering retreat. Yes, please, questions, things to share. Yes, please, go ahead. Shall I repeat it for you?
Well, yeah.
Okay, good. Yes.
First of all, thank you so much for this talk. It's really illuminating and inspiring to hear you speak on Dhamma. And I just wanted to ask, do you, in your own practice, have you felt that the contemplation or the practice of Satipattḥāna, has it changed over the years? Has there been any kind of like different way of practice, or is it really the same way of practice? I wonder if you could say it in words.
So Brahmawada asked, in my own practice of Satipattḥāna, has it changed over the years, or has it been pretty much the same thing? And it looks to me like everything's changing pretty much all the time. And yet there really is a sense of something that is like, I'd say like common ground, or something fundamental. And I would even say that, having been, well, let's see, I'm not that old, I'm only 55. I learned to meditate formally at age 10, so 45 years ago. That time I learned meditation on the great elemental properties. It's one form of meditation that I learned in camp. Yeah, I liked the idea among shopping different camps as a kid. Which one will you go to during your summer vacation? And I liked the one that would have nature walk with meditation. So we went out on the nature walk, and then the meditation instructor then also taught. I remember a lovely spot on mossy tree trunks and roots by a creek. And we sat down, and then the instructor taught the meditation on the great elemental properties internally and externally. So some of the things even that I mentioned during the meditation time and after the meditation time are things that were also pointed out at that time. I was 10 years old. And yet, is the experience of hardness or softness or warmth or coolness the same as it was then? No, I can't say that. And has practicing or working with that always been the same over the time? I absolutely wouldn't say that. So really, this is, I'd say, like an unfolding exploration. And every time coming to the meditation, I feel like there's always something new, something different. What do I mean by coming to the meditation? I mean being alive. Each day is coming to awareness, and then like, what is the experience of that time up till. Now, I'll say there's some period of time in meditation retreat where I felt like I stopped going to sleep in the kind of way where, your awareness goes out. You're not aware of being aware anymore. Just for some period of time. And so then it's like even lying down and relaxing deeply and all of that. And it's these days, even though the last few days I didn't sleep much because I had some things on the other side of the world as well as this side to attend to. But when I went to sleep, then I like to think about practicing with mindfulness, and then just like the lights go out, right? And then like lights are turning back on again, awareness is coming back on, and then like that. So not like that, awareness through the days and nights kind of thing like that. But always all continuous discovery and entering into this time now, then very much for me, as I'm sure it will be. None of us know yet. Even you think you've made some decision, what is this time now going to be for me? What am I going to do? What's it going to be like for me? What am I going to gain from this? This is one of those cases that I was talking about earlier. It's good to know that you really don't know. You may think you know something about it, but afterwards you can say what it was really like, right? But this is also an aspect of sati. Even sati, we say in the moment, Don't we think we're knowing something, but it's like, can you get right on the moment? Or what? Right? Even to be listening and to be able to make sense, you have to be like going, it's like listening and recollecting back and listening and recollecting back. Yeah. Anyway, it's one of those funny things. So I don't have any decision. What is it going to be like for me? But as long as I have awareness, I have the wish to show up and to bring Dhamma to the Dhammas. Dhammas, by Dhammas, I mean whatever experiences, whatever bases of contact there are, then the wish to recollect Dhamma, bring Dhamma. And when these things connect, then we say it's the path. So then it's the, what does it say? Intention to be living in the path, wish, will, heart, to be living in the path, applying oneself to the path, applying oneself to the work of the path. That is nurturing, feeding our noble intention and our right effort to be nurturing. And that's what this time really is for. That's what all of the things, that's what the walls of the building are here for. It's what the floor is here for. It's what these electronic devices are here for. It's what the food that the good friends who came and offered is all these things are just supports. They're all supports for that. So applying ourselves to our noble intention, showing up and applying ourselves, then this is what these supports are for. We can feel then right, good. Please don't think about attainment. I know you may say, but the Buddha himself said, my bones and sinews dry up until I will attain the unattained, like this. But actually, if you just apply yourself to mindfulness and right effort in the circumstances with the opportunity that you have, together with the Dhamma contemplation, the effects will come. The Buddha did not have that guidance at that time. We do. It's not that we shouldn't be seeing and checking what's working, what's not working, recollecting, further developing the things that are helpful, seeing how to reduce the things that aren't helpful. It's right. This is right effort to do this. But we don't have to really be striving so much for attainment, because due to the law of causation, law of cause and effect, if we cultivate the causes, the effects will come. We don't have to be reaching out of ourselves. We don't have to be pulling our heartstrings or torturing ourselves over what we're thinking to get or we're not getting or like that. Anyway, you can if you want to, but you have options. As I mentioned earlier, you have options and you don't have to. If you cultivate the causes wisely and skillfully, the effects will come, because that is the law of nature. That's how the things work. It's just how the things work. So you can just come back into yourself and center yourself on doing the work. What you know is the work, using the tools that you have, cultivating, developing, applying yourself to them. And you can trust. Anyway, you can also investigate it. If you don't want to trust, please investigate it. But this is one thing. I didn't have so much trust before. I had faith, I had aspiration, I had longing, but I didn't have the trust that I have now. I have now kind of trust and confidence in the path that comes from just, working with it over time. Then you start to be able to see how things work. And you understand there are things that are reliable in the path. There are things that are reliable in the Dhamma. And the most important thing is to do the work that needs to be done. And you don't have to be stretching outside of yourself to be like grasping and longing and all of that. Just bring all that energy, center yourself, bring all that energy right back inside yourself and apply it to what you know of the path, and what you know in your heart, in your understanding, is the work that needs to be done. Do that, and the effects will come. So thank you for asking that question, Aya. It's such a fantastic question. I'm sorry I've gone a little bit over time. Let me stop now. And I hope then for all the questions that might arise that you might have for Aya Brahmawara, that for her Sunday morning meditation, Sunday afternoon sutta study, Tuesday evening meditation, and Dhamma sharing, warm welcome to join any and every time for that, or to listen afterwards. And I will, who knows what happens, but if the causal conditions are there for it, if they come together for it, then I'll be back with you again in 1 fortnight for the full moon. And then we'll be focusing at that time, really looking into and particularly focusing on the Upasana, just specifically looking into the body. All 4 foundations really work together very, very, very well. So you don't have to be focusing on just one, but it is valuable and worth it to give time to just focus on one for a period of time. The others will come up anyway. They do, they will. It's how it works. Don't think that's bad or wrong, but to really dedicate the focus time to really be looking into and exploring one. So you have that opportunity, you have that invitation for this time. For all of us, I offer that invitation to myself and to each and every one of us, all those far and wide. And now I'd like to share in dedication. I invite you to put your palms in front of your heart. Also think about holding your own dedication, and that of this time, dedicated time of introspection, looking into, investigating, contemplating the Dhamma, penetrating into it, and of cultivating, developing, establishing these excellent foundations for establishment of mindfulness and clear awareness that are Ekāyano Maggo, like the hub of all the folds of the Noble Eightfold Path, and all that is kusala, skillful and liberating, and such great supports at the center, supporting our right effort in all the folds, holding that dedication for self truly with love, kindness, care, integrity, dedication, and virtue, and for the Sangha, back to the Buddha, all of the Arahants who have awakened before us, all those who are awakening now, all those that are like our Dhamma guardians, guardian angels, great supporters, benefactors in so many ways, who've already passed away, who are still alive, even those who are lying in the womb or waiting to be born again, with our heart of dedication, love, and blessings to all of them. And I'd like to go into a few details now. I'd like to especially bless our retreat managers, our tech support, our Dhammadharini Support Foundation, all of the supporters of our Dhammadharini Support Foundation, all past board and committee members, all those present, all in Inspiring Generosity Committee, our Dana Coordinator, Lal Senanayake. Welcome everyone to join him in offering hot meal dana and grocery dana here at our hermitage, to contribute to lodgings dana and grocery dana from afar together with Lal and his great dedication of Sangha support. And I want to bless all of our supporters and benefactors far and wide from the past who are still alive in our minds and hearts in the present, far and wide, near and far, all those who are our moral supporters and benefactors who offer mental support and Dhamma support, all those who are our verbal supporters who say words of support that are helpful, blessed, supportive, beneficial, all those who are our physical supporters whose actions are supportive, including those who donate their skills, their time, their efforts, their energy, food, requisites, volunteering, lending a helping hand in so many ways, near and far, including all those here, keeping this space, caring for these offerings really well in a way that's a blessing for the donors and a blessing for ourselves, our own minds, our own hearts, supportive of the path and conducive to the fruits of the path growing and ripening, and for us to have that, taste of Dhamma, nutriment of Dhamma, the Dhamma joy. We have a lot of quiet sadhu, sadhu, sadhus here. So I want to sadhu, 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 anumodami to everyone who's here, everyone far and wide who is joining together now or who will be joining together. Thoughts of blessings to all. I'm going to chant, welcome to join me if you know this chant. Andamayang Utisana Ditana Katayom Panamasem Imina Ponya Kamena Upajaya Kunotaram Ācarinī Pakara Chamata Pita Chanyatakam Suryo Chandimaraja Kunawanta Narapicha Brahmamara Chayenda Chalokapala Chadewatam Yamo Mitamanosa Chamachatawerika Picham Sabe Sata Sukhi Hontum Punyani Pakatani Mem Sukhanchati Vidang Dentum Kipang Papetawo Matang Imina Ponya Kamena Imina Udisena Cha Kipahang Sulabhechewa Tan Upadana Chetanang Yesantane Hinatamam Yawanipanato Mamang Nasantu Sabhatayevam Yatajato Pawe Ujo Chitang Satipanya Saleko Viriyaminam Mara Lapantunokasang Katun Shawiriye Sume Buddhati Pawaronato Dhammonato Varutamam Nato Pacheka Buddhocha Sangho Nato Taro Mamang Pesotamanuphavenam Maro Kasang Labhantumam Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagavam Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Sawakatom Bhagavata Dhammam Dhammang Namasami Dhammaminato Upatipannom Bhagavatom Sāvakasaṅghom Saṅghang Namami Saṅghominato. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of all the Buddhas, by the power of awakening itself, by the power of all the excellent, noble, and liberating teachings of the Dhamma, and the power of the Dhamma itself, by the power of all the noble saints and sages of the awakened Arahant Sangha, and the power of the path itself. May we know that deep, most excellent well-being, unexcelled peacefulness, freedom, happiness that is Nibbana. May these be our efforts, the causes and the fruits of the path. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.